Let's be real. The world is changing so fast, it's hard to keep up. That means mastering new skills isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's pretty much essential for survival. So today, we're diving into a method called Ultralearning. It's a powerful framework for picking up difficult skills in, frankly, record time.
And let me just start by asking you a question. And I want you to be really honest with yourself. When you look at your career, your hobbies, the future you want, are the skills you have right now really going to cut it in the world that's coming?
Because here's the thing, technology is just exploding, industries are being completely reinvented, and jobs we take for granted today, well, they might not be around in a few years. And you know, traditional education, it's often way too slow, it's expensive, and it's just not built to keep up with this constant, relentless demand for new knowledge.
So if the old way isn't working, what's the alternative? Well, there's a strategy called ultralearning. Think of it as an aggressive, self-directed approach to learning that really puts you back in the driver's seat of your own education.
Scott Young, who pioneered this idea, defines it as a focused strategy for mastering skills and knowledge and doing it quickly and efficiently. And this isn't about just, skimming the surface. This is about going deep and doing it fast.
So what makes someone an ultralearner? Well, three things, really. First, they're aggressive. They don't shy away from the hard stuff. They lean right into it because that's where the fastest growth is. Second, they're self-directed. You're the one calling the shots. You design your own curriculum. And third, it's all about deep learning, not just cramming facts to pass a test.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but does this stuff actually work in the real world? Well, the most insane case study comes from Scott Young himself. He called it the MIT Challenge. Okay, just think about this for a second. A computer science degree from MIT. That's one of the most respected, most rigorous programs on the planet. It's designed to take 4 full years of your life with intense, full-time study.
Scott finished the entire curriculum, all of it, in just 12 months. 1 year. And get this, he did it without ever setting foot in a classroom. He just used publicly available course materials, lecture videos, and online exams. It's just a stunning example of what this focused method can do.
So the million-dollar question is, how on earth did he pull that off? Well, it wasn't magic. It was a system. And that system is built on a toolkit of 9 core principles that are the foundation for any ultralearning project. Here they are: meta-learning, focus, directness, drill, retrieval, feedback, retention, intuition, and experimentation. Now, we're not going to break down all 9, but let's dive into a few of the most powerful ones so you can see how this all clicks together. It all kicks off with something called meta-learning. This just means that before you learn the thing, you first learn how to learn the thing. So say you want to learn to code. You wouldn't just grab a random book. You'd spend maybe 10% of your total time first researching the best languages for your goals, finding the top online courses, and maybe talking to experts to figure out the key concepts. That's your roadmap. It's like trying to navigate a new city with a map instead of just wandering around lost.
Okay, next up is directness. And honestly, this one is a total game changer. The fastest way to learn to speak a language isn't reading a textbook, it's trying to have a conversation. The fastest way to learn to draw is to draw, even if you're terrible at first. The point is to learn by doing the actual thing you want to get good at. You have to escape that comfortable trap of just reading about it forever.
And this slide right here really gets to the heart of it. It shows the massive difference between how we think we learn and how our brains actually learn. Rereading your notes or highlighting a textbook, it feels productive, right? But it's totally passive. The real sticky learning happens with active retrieval, when you force your brain to pull information out. Think self-quizzing, using flashcards, or trying to teach the concept to a friend. That's how you build strong, lasting memories. So how do you get better? Well, that brings us to principle #feedback. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Chris Rock doesn't wait until he's on stage in a giant arena to find out if a new joke is funny. No way. He goes to small, intimate clubs to get raw, brutal, honest feedback when the stakes are low. And ultralearners do the exact same thing. They seek out criticism early and often, because that's how you improve.
All right, you've got the principles, you see how it works. Now let's get practical. How do you take all this theory and turn it into your very own real-life ultralearning project? It's actually a pretty simple 5-step process. First, choose a project that you're genuinely excited about. Then, plan. Do that 10% meta-learning we talked about. Third, schedule it. Put it on your calendar, set your hours, pick an end date. Fourth, execute.
This is where you push yourself and track how you're doing. And finally, once you hit your goal, you maintain the skill, or maybe you decide to go even deeper.
But as you start this journey, it's really important to realize that the skill itself, learning the language or the instrument, that's not actually the ultimate prize here.
No, the true prize is something way deeper. It's the confidence you get from knowing you have a process. It's that unshakable self-belief that you can pick up any complex subject and actually master it. It's the freedom to reinvent yourself whenever you need to, or, just whenever you want to.
And this quote from Scott Young just nails it. It perfectly sums up the whole philosophy. It's not really about what you learn. It's about your ability to learn. Because that is the one skill that will never, ever become obsolete.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have this framework, this new way of thinking about learning, what are you going to choose? What hard, valuable, exciting skill will you ultralearn next?